I'm about to explain a really powerful perception building technique. Now, it's to build up your muscles of perception so that you can perceive more of what reality has available for you, more of what's actually available for you to perceive. So, this technique is deep. It will open your mind, it will expand your heart, and it will begin to start giving you the ability to really feel and be aware of and attune your thought process with this miraculous life force that is animating your brain and body. And make no mistake, it is a complete miracle that any of us are alive in this form. A complete miracle. So we'll get to that, but that's the reality of it all. So just relax. Completely relax your body, and in your mind, start thinking backwards, reverse your world, almost like you're pushing a CD player or some kind of device and you're rewinding. So go backwards, start going through your memories. Don't get stuck on any memory in particular, but just start going back at a pretty quick rate through your life. Go back through your adult years, your teen years, your childhood years, and get to this place. Go back to your earliest memory, and then realize this: even though you don't remember what was going on before your earliest memories, there was still something going on. And now you can maybe more use your imaginative process to consider, or maybe you do remember this, but just consider that before your earliest memories, before what you were aware of, there was still something going on with you. And as you go back, you were a baby, you had perception, you were aware, you don't remember it now necessarily, but something was still aware. But you keep going back to that. Okay, then your birth, you're being born. Even before you were born, there's something happening. So you're in your womb, you're in your mother's womb, and you're developing. Now go back and consider this: in your embryonic state, when you were literally a little amphibious looking reptilian, humanoid, alien, whatever you want to think of it, but you were that. I was that. Everybody alive was this little tiny thing inside of our mother's womb that was developing with that's who you are. It's what you were. It's what you come from. But guess what was going on in that state where we don't have any conscious memory of? Our heart was beating. We had this little tiny heart that was beating, literally beating, empowering this little tiny amphibious looking organism to exist, pumping the blood, vortexing the blood through your actual little tiny, 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 super tiny being. So consider that. That was going on. Now fast forward back to now, right here, as you're sitting here watching this video and listening to me explain this. And think about this. This is going to open your mind, it's going to expand your heart. That very same heart that was in you, that was causing that little tiny reptilian amphibious thing that was dependent upon its mother, the heart that was beating in that little tiny being, is the exact same heart that has been beating in your chest throughout your entire life, from when you became aware of who you think you are. You became aware of this world. You became influenced by the conditioning of this world. You've learned, you've studied, you've gotten hurt in love, you've hurt others in love, you've been through it all. And the same heart that was beating in your chest, in your little tiny embryonic state, is the same heart that's beating in you now. Now, I don't know about you, but just to think in terms like that, it expands the inner and outer edges of my thought process. It gets me out of this normal kind of way, these closed parameters that I'm used to thinking in, that we're all used to thinking in. And it allows me to expand my thought process, expand the inner and outer edges of my thought process, so I can begin to consider how profound this life truly is. And when I do that, when I really begin to consider that, something really interesting starts happening. I start to tune into the subtleties of life that aren't actually subtle. It's just our ability to perceive them is what is subtle. But these subtleties of life, these energy patterns that empower everything to exist in and around our body, are there. They're alive, and they're very, very powerful, and they're very, very profound. But in our normal state of awareness, the way we're used to perceiving the world, if we're even aware of them at all, most people aren't. They know it's there, they have a feeling it's there, but they haven't been able to perceive it in a way that's very tangible so that they can then begin to really develop that potential within them. But make no mistake, they are there nonetheless. So in my own awareness, by becoming aware of this stuff, I feel it, I experience it, I can literally put my finger on it, and as a result of me having a tangible experience of these energy fields that I'm suggesting is responsible for everything existing, I'm able to further develop its potential within my being and in the world around me. And everybody can do this. So I'm going to close this off with this because it's sage advice, I feel. Maybe I'm totally wrong in this, but if you're living in the world and you're so focused on building these relationships with the world outside of you, maybe you're really missing out on reality. Because what I do and what I've kind of been forced to do, I've chosen to do this in many ways, but in many ways I've been forced to do it because I've affirmed in me that I so thoroughly and deeply need to understand the truths of life and why I exist. I have literally made it where the relationships that I focus on, the intimacy that I develop, is literally in developing powerful relationships with the organs of my body. I hang out with my heart. I hang out with my liver, my pancreas, my stomach, my brain, my thymus gland, my thyroid gland, my pineal gland. I literally sit in silent contemplation and I perceive these organs that are in my body. And I contemplate with my mind how powerful and profound they are, but emotionally I open up to them as if they were my very best friends, because they are my very best friends. They're all of our best friends. And so many people in this day and age are looking for these transcendent spiritual experiences. They want to get out of the world. They want to have an experience that leads them away from the pain and suffering that they feel on a moment-to-moment or day-to-day basis. But guess what? Those experiences are very possible, and they're very real, and they're very accessible, but they are most accessible from a sustainable level in a way that's going to provide the most benefit to you, your health, your thought processes, your emotional processes, by going inward. The way out is in and through. And what I mean by that is by going into and experiencing the organs of your body, how they are individually, how they relate to each other, the synergistic relationship they all have, by developing a loving relationship with the organs of your body so that you can experience your essential, authentic self, what you truly are, the energy that animates your brain and body. When you begin to really focus on that and become intimate with your experience in your body and get excited about it and love it, then that leads to the expression of a holistic sense of awareness where you literally feel yourself and experience yourself as this spark of divine energy, this miraculous, indescribable, ineffable energy force that is animating the brain and body. And from there, the potential is off the charts. So consider what I said. Literally go back. Make this practice. Consider that your heart was literally the same heart that was beating when you were this big in your mother's womb is the same heart that is beating now. So show some gratitude to that organ. It's carried you through this entire experience up to this point. I mean, really do more than show gratitude for it. Fall in love with it. Love your heart. The organ that loves the world, you gotta love it. It needs you. It really needs your attention. Why is there so much rampant disease and sickness existing in the world? I personally feel that it is life itself really and deeply trying to communicate to us, through us, to get our attention and to give what little bit of intelligence we have to the profound innate intelligence in our bodies, because that innate intelligence in our bodies is what the entire world is made of, the natural world, the earth, the cosmos, all of it. So make your organs your best friends and start hanging out with them every day and love them and have a party with them. Thank you. If you guys like the content that I've been putting out in these videos and in these articles and stuff, if it empowers you, if it makes you feel really good and you like it or love it, please like the video and share it. This will help.